All right. So I think we left off number 7. And this is when there's a semi-annual payments. And basically what you're going to do here is it doubles the number of periods, but it has the market the market interest rate. All right, let me see what remember how I did this. Okay. Are these two the same? No. The amount of the face value is the same. All right. So I see how I did it. Okay. So let's go through this. So cash payout period, we have this for 3 years. And it's paid semi-annually. And so we have, let's see here, 600,000. Times times 6 divided by 12 equals some number. It's 36,000. Oops. Number of periods is 3 years. They're paid out twice a year. So 6 periods. Ooh, that should be a comma. All right, so it'll basically look like this. 36,000. Every year up until year 6. And then at year 6, we have to pay the face value, which is 600,000 because I got lazy and didn't change that. I just did something wrong. What did I do wrong? I did something wrong. What was my mistake?
Is it the 3 years instead of 6?
Six is, oh, 6 periods.
Oh, okay, because it's semi-annual. Okay, yes.
I took the
Uh,
wrong payout. It's 7%.
oh,
Oopsie daisy. Let's try that again. So this is 600. So this, the 36 is wrong. It's 21,000. So I have to change all. So every period, we're gonna pay out 21,000 twice a year. And then we have the face amount we're gonna pay out at the end. Okay, so. Copy this stuff. All right, so the interest rate is gonna be for, sorry, the interest annuity. The market rate is gonna be 12% divided by 2 equals 4. No, it doesn't, equal 6. And the same thing down here. It's important that both of these are the same. I don't think I talked about why. I should. Maybe I'll do it after we do this one. I'll explain why it's different. Okay, so we have 21,000. We don't know any of this yet. Don't know any of this yet. And we certainly don't know any of that yet. Oops. Okay. Boy, did I make a mess out of that. All right, so here we go. So the annuity. So 6 periods, the market rate is 6%. So 21,000. Oops. Get my table up here a little closer. 6 periods at 6%. $4.917. So this is the value of the annuity payments. We could do them on the single payment table. We could do it 6 times, but that would be no fun. So. Okay, single payment table. Seven, 0.705. So 600,000 times. All right, so those two together will be our cash proceeds. 526. Oops. Five, 7. So this would be the value of the bonds. Would these be at a premium or a discount?
Discount.
Yep. 73,743. I think. Oops, wrong one. Take that out anyways. So it'd be a discount of and it's a discount because of this. If you'll notice they got 7% printed on the bonds, but the market rate for the bonds is 12%. Now the market will still buy them from us, but they're just not going to give us the full amount. They say, no, we're not going to give you 600,000. We're going to give you 526,000. And the bond percentage will be 526. 257 divided by 600,000. Ha. $87.71. Let's say 87.7. And the reason why you get this issue percentage because people are going to be buying different amounts of these bonds. There's 600,000, maybe someone buys 10,000, someone buys 20,000, and so on. So you got to know how much they're going to pay. Well, they're going to pay 87% of whatever the face value they buy. So if they bought 100,000, they would pay 87,700. And this isn't going to be a surprise to anybody. Companies are well aware of what the market rate for their debt is. So it isn't like they go, oh boy, this is terrible. They sold at a discount. They're going to know ahead of time. And the other times they try to structure based on what cash flows that they would be sending out. All right, but very important though, when you do these, that these match. Oh, I didn't say why. I'll show you why. It has to do with compounding. For instance, if these were annual bonds, they paid it annually, it would be just be 12%. Right? So now there is a compounding that happens though when you have semi-annual. So if you take 0.06 times 1.06, so you're adding 6% interest to each one of those. Oops. That's going to come out to be a little bit more than 12%. Let's see here. So this will come out to be 1.36. So in other words, if you minus the 1 from it, which is the face value basically, you're going to come out with it's going to be slightly more because of the compounding. So if it's annual, it's just whatever it is. If it's semi-annual, it's actually a little bit more than 12%. Ah. What the heck's going on here? Who made this stupid thing? There we go. So annual, so in other words, it's 6 periods at 6% is more than interest payment than say 3 periods at 12. It's gonna be a little bit higher because of the compounding. Any question on that? So these two have to match. And the reason I say that is you might look at the single face value and go, wait a minute, you know, this isn't paid out twice a year. The valuation is going to happen exactly the same because 12% semi-annual is not the same as 12% annual. It's actually a different interest rate. Question on that? All right. All right, so now we're going to get to the journal entries. So we know how to issue the bonds. We know how to get the value of them. Oh, I know what I got to. I know what I want to tell you. Here's another weird thing about bonds. Let's look at the tables for a second. You'll notice as the interest rate goes up, the bonds are worth less and less, right? Because the market wants more money. The bonds are going to be worth less and less and less and less. So here's the strange thing that is not generally true of things like mortgages. And that is, if you issue bonds, you're issuing them at a certain date, and the market for your bonds is going to be that whatever it was on that date, you'll sell them out. one of the odd things is, in a weird way, you hope that the interest rate, that the market rate for your bonds goes up. And you say, well, why would you want that? You want it to go up because the value of your bonds that are outstanding goes down. They're worth less. So if it goes from, say, 12% to 15%, those bonds out of the market are worth less. It's possible that you can buy back your bonds for less than you sold them for, and you have a gain. And have been different economic times when that's actually happened, where you had companies that had, a fairly large amount of debt out there, but the interest rates were rising, so that the value of their debt was shrinking, and at some point, it's possible they buy it back and they get a gain on it. If you get rid of $600,000 worth of debt by buying it for $400,000, buying it back, you just had a $200,000 gain. So it is possible that because the market goes up. Now, if it goes the other way, you don't want to buy them back. They'll be more expensive to buy back. But if the interest rate goes up, bonds are worth less. Sometimes they can buy them back. Okay, let's go down here. Issuing bonds, and this is kind of what you'll see. Here's the following percentages for these bonds, and we're just going to kind of calculate those. All right. So 103 is 103%. These are all percentages. They usually don't even put the percent on there. They'll just say they're issuing them at 103 or whatever it is. But these are actually in percentages. So 103% is 1.03. Oops. Let's try that again. Times 100,000. So these bonds would sell at $103,000. These ones selling at 103, would these be at a premium or a discount?
A premium.
Good. Yep. If it's 100%, if it's more than 100%, it'll be a premium. So that's what this is. All right. Coming down here, we have 97. Well, 96,700. 96,700. Premium or discount?
Discount.
Discount. Now this one of the weird things, I believe they still give quotes like this. I know fairly recently they used to. They do it they'll have 3/4. Sometimes they'll have it 3/4 or 5/8 or 3/16. Sometimes even up to 30 seconds. 104, 1/32 sometimes, depending on what the markets are. But anyway, usually you're just better to do the 3/4 first. So I would, if it was, here's one of the easier ways to do it, I guess. 3 divided by 4 is going to get you 0.75. And then, it's fairly easy. Why is this one so much bigger? Oh, it's not. You know what it is? It's longer. That's fine. Yeah, fine. And that would be premium also, right? Oops. The only times it's more than 100%, it's a premium, less than a discount. And one of the, if these are really sold on the market, a lot of times it's almost impossible to hit it right on the head. So a lot of times you'll have premium discounts. It's possible you have one that's sold at par. That's what we're going to look at here. This is if they're sold at 100%, it'll be at par. But those are fairly rare, at least for say like publicly traded companies. Okay. So now we're going to get on here to the journal entries. Journal entry sold a $200,000 bond issue at 100%. Okay, so we have cash, asset going up, we're borrowing money. And we're going to take no, not 100,000, 200,000. 200,000 times 100% is just 1.0. I know you're probably looking at this thing. Do we really have to do that? No, you really don't. But if it's sold at one, this is selling at par value. It's probably pretty rare. At least for public trade companies, it's going to be rare. So it'll just be 200,000. And we will have a liability of bonds payable. And that's a liability going up. We now owe 200,000. And there is no premium or discount because this is if it's sold at one, it's at par value. I don't know why they don't call it face value. Par value usually associated with stock, but regardless, and I don't think it happens enough to worry about it. Okay. Second one, originally for $200,000 bond issue issued at 105. This is all part of my teaching you to be lazy. I'm going to copy this down. So this is we sold at 105. So what is that? 10. And that's going to be a premium. Okay, so this is what is 200,000? Yeah, 210, right? Now I'm doubting myself. Yeah, 200. Okay, so we got $210,000. Now our bonds payable is going to be exactly the same. At the end of his life, we got to pay off this bonds payable. And you'll notice something immediately that these two sides don't balance. And so what we need to put in there is an account. The true name of this account is, I'll write it out, don't put this in. Unamortized premium on bonds payable. I vote that we just call it premium. So the premium, so this will be a premium. Now, these two go together. This is considered a liability. It's going up. And if you think about it, you might say, well, wait a minute, this premium, isn't that a good thing or whatever? If you think about it, if you break it down to what really happened, how much did we really borrow? We really borrowed 210,000. How much do we owe? We really owe 210,000.
So fast, I'm a little confused about that. So
Yeah, it is confusing. Yeah. So
I thought it was, so it's not a gain by being paid by you getting more, but you have to still pay the premium back too.
yeah, and if you were to buy those bonds back immediately, you'd have to pay that premium.
But if you waited till they matured, you still pay the premium.
No, if you wait till it mature, you're eventually going to have to pay it down. Usually, now what that premium is, actually, it's an excellent question. You might say, well, what is that premium? What, are people just stupid? Why are they paying that premium? Let me go up here. This is I got to get to a premium one. Yeah, so like here, you'll see that the interest rate that they're paying is 9%, where the market rate is 8%. So when they pay out this 9%, they're actually paying an extra 1%. That extra 1% will pay down that premium. So this extra $20,000 of premium they have here, initially they still owe it. If you turned around tomorrow and tried to buy those bonds back, whoever has them will say, yeah, you can buy it back for $620,391. So you still owe this amount, but now over time you're going to be paying out a higher interest rate to these people. So that is what's going to be paying down that premium. It is weird.
It's very weird.
I'll tell you something kind of funny. I was a finance major, and when I had my bachelor's degree in finance, and I was looking to go into get a master's degree, and I didn't like the finance jobs very much because they're all like selling jobs. They're selling whatever investments and all that, and the accounting one. So I went to these accounting classes. I was not a good accounting student. My first two accounting classes I got C's in, but I thought, okay, this is what I got to do. So we were in this class. We had this crazy teacher, and he would nice guy, but he would walk into class and he'd like if he did this chapter. You say, yeah, there's some liability. You put liabilities on the one side, and you get cash on the other, and you got to figure out what's premium. You guys will figure it out. He wouldn't tell us anything. And if you asked a question, like, well, because he give us a bunch of homework assignments, so we all go to the library. Literally, like a big group of us go to the library. We go to the library and figure out these problems. And then you came back, and if you asked a question, like, well, where did that $600 come from? $600, that's the amortization. Look, it's in the book. I'm not gonna, if you guys don't want to be accounting majors, there's the door. And that's what he was. Just, so anyway, we all like learned how to do it. But anyway, so in that group, I was always like the dumb kid because I didn't have any accounting, and these people were all upper level accounting people. But when it came to bonds, it didn't make sense to them, but it made sense to me because I've been so much into the finance area. So part of the reason why I'm telling you this is one of those things that's hard to teach. If, you know, sometimes if you weren't struggling through it, it's harder to teach it. But basically, there is no free lunch. It's just like, it's just a standard transaction of you borrowed money and that's what you owe. If you borrow 620,000, you owe 620,000. If you borrowed 520,000, you borrowed 520,000. They're equal. So whatever the liability and whatever the proceeds are, they're equal. All right. Now, over time, you know, there's reasons why those values are different, and it comes down to the interest payments. The interest payments, if they're higher, they have a premium. That premium will get paid off. The premium will eventually go to zero. Same thing with the discount. Let's do the discount. I'll show you that one too, because that one it might make a little more sense when we do this one too. So let's go ahead and do the discount. So this one's sold at 98, so it's going to be a discount. Okay, so this one sold at 98. $200,000 times 98 is what? 196. Very easy calculator. Yeah. This is a discount. Okay, so this is what this is going to look like. Now, you'll notice that the discount, it is a liability going down by 4,000. So let me show you how these would be shown on the balance sheet. Well, I'll do this one first. So this is the premium. Your cash would go up by 210,000. Your liabilities would have bonds payable. And they would have a premium of 10,000. You know, and if you think about it, you know, for this thing to balance, if you want your balance sheet to balance, you know, this is how that transaction has to occur. If you put 210,000 on one side, you got to put 210,000 on the other. Oop. Oh, now I goofed it up. So these two have to. You know, if one side goes up by 210, then the other side has to go up by 210. Just getting a little more room here. This one down here. Look like this. Now, over time, as you pay off your, for this one, as you pay off the higher interest rates, the premium will go away, it'll reduce it. This premium will eventually go down to zero and you'll be left with bonds payable 200,000. Same thing down here, this discount will eventually go to zero and you'll have to pay off 200,000. And yeah, it is a little bit strange to do the journal entries for it. But if you just think about it, how much did they really borrow on number 11? They borrowed 196,000. And if they put that on the books, that's what they have to also have for the liabilities, or else it's not going to balance. And the same thing up here. You got 210. How much they borrow? 210. If they tried to pay this off tomorrow, they'd have to pay off the 210. Over time, that'll reduce until after I don't say how many years this is. After a number of years, it would go down to zero.
So you say it'll go down to zero. So when they do pay it, they will still pay that amount though, but it'll show on the books that it's down to zero.
Yeah, this discount will actually go down to zero, and they'll pay off the actual 200,000. So when they do pay it off at the end, they will be paying that extra 4,000. And we'll talk about how we do it in these journal entries. You'll see it kind of up here.
Okay.
Okay. Good way to show this one. All right, on January 20, the bond with a face value of 200,000, state interest rate, 7% are issued at 110,000. Okay, so similar to what we did on the previous page. So this one we're going to. There's 200,000 the face value, just like before on the other page, and these are issued at 110%. So we'll make our first journal entry based on that. Okay, so cash. That's not how you spell cash. Cash. Asset going up. These are 200,000. Issued at 10 equals 220,000. And premium or discount?
It's a premium.
Here. So our cash will be 220,000. Our bonds payable. Which is also a liability going up, will be only for 200,000. And the difference between those will be our kind of these unamortized premium on balance payable, but we're just gonna say premium. Okay, I think I'm gonna do the cash payout up here. Because it comes off the face value. So here's the cash payout that we're gonna have. We pay interest semi-annually, okay. So we're gonna make our cash payouts, or cash for interest. Will be 200,000 times. We say we're gonna pay 7%. It's stamped right on the bonds. We have to pay 7%. Times 6 divided by 12, half a year. You can also just divide by 2. All right, so 200,000 times 7%. Calculator. Oh, 7,000. Should know that. Okay, so I'm gonna come down here. Now, cash is gonna be going down. We're gonna make this payout every 6 months. Oops. Go ahead and copy this. Okay, now here's where it gets tricky. These two together are called the carry amount of the bonds. They're exactly the same as the cash payout for the first part. So it'll look like this. So when we do our interest expense, we're going to take the 220,000 times the market rate. I'll make those green. And if you think about it, how much did we really borrow? We really borrowed 220,000. And what interest did we pay? We really paid 6%. Equals some amount. $6,600. So this is the market rate for those bonds. And you'll notice it's higher than the cash we're paying out. So this is 6,600. Now you'll notice these go, okay, well, we're paying out more than they're asking for. They're asking for 6,600. You know, that's what they would get for this kind of a loan, 220,000 at 6%. They would get 6,600. We're paying out 7,000. So there's a difference there of 400. This is where that premium comes in. So this is a premium, it's a liability. And now it's going down. This $20,000 liability has now gone down by 400. And eventually it's going to go down to zero. So the entire 20,000 liability. So as we pay it, we're paying off more than what they're asking for. So this is what we're paying off. This is what they're asking for. Question on that thing? I know it's kind of strange. Even me coming from finance, it was a little bit strange to put it into journal entries because you kind of, it's a weird way to think about it. But actually the market is looking for less interest and we're paying more interest than they're actually asking for it. That extra interest is going to pay off that premium in this case. You know, it isn't just free money. They didn't just give us that premium for no reason. They gave us that premium because we're paying a high interest rate. And so that high interest rate will go to paying off that that premium until at the end it's going to be down to zero. Okay, now you say, how could this get any worse? Oh, wait, it will. The carry amount of the bonds is going to change. And basically, you know, because this is a minus, if it's a premium, it's going to be minus from the carry amount. It would be plus a discount. Now you're going to have one or the other. So if it's a discount, you add it. If it's a premium, you subtract it. Now there isn't going to be a discount here because this isn't a discount, it's the premium. And so the new carry amount I should probably put dates here. Will be 220,000 minus 400. I'll leave everything. So in this case, we have an interest premium of 400. Okay. And so the new carry amount is 219. Okay, so here's how this changes. The cash is going to be exactly the same. The cash is stamped on the bonds. It'll be exactly the same. It has to be the same. It's a legal document saying that we're going to pay 7% twice a year on 200,000. The interest expense. Oops. The interest expense will now be $219,600 times the 6% times 6 divided by 12 equals 6,588. And the difference will go into that premium liability. It'll be reduced that premium liability by, what's the difference there? 412. Oops. Try that again. And so that premium will keep going down. That premium liability will just keep going down and down and down. As we make these payments that are higher than they want, we're making these big payments, it'll pay off that premium. And over the 15-year life, this will go down to, that 20,000 will go down to 0. Let's stop here. We'll take a break. What time? So we're going to say 7:12. When we come back, I'll take all the questions you have on it, because I'm sure there's what the heck was that, you know? So anyway, you can kind of see how this is already being, even after the first interest payment, it's being reduced. Down to 219. If you go to the next period, it's going to go be reduced by even more, by 412. So 219, 600 minus 412. So this is just going to keep going down and down and down, and this premium is going to go down to zero. Eventually, this will be zero. That'll be all that's left, is that bonds payable 200,000, and that's when they'll pay it off. That's at the end of the term. In what, 15 years, I guess? 15 years. They'll pay it off, and that premium will be completely gone.
I was gonna ask that, Professor, but you just said it. So the carrier value amount for June 30th for 2024, the following year, it would be 219 subtract the 412, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so this would be, well, actually, this would be for, yeah, no, you're right, 630. So this would be 219.
Subtract the 412. Okay.
Yep, exactly. And just keep going down and down. Eventually, this carry amount is going to be 200,000.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
218 something. 28. Wait, oh, that's too high. 218, 90, no, 88, 98. I don't know, but it's going to keep going down and down and down until it's, eventually this will just go down. This will just be down at 200. The premium will be gone completely. And all
It's 188.
it's 188.
It's 219, 188.
Oh, 219, 188. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's what I was gonna ask. Got it.
Yeah, you're right. 188. Yeah, because it's 800. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. So it'll just keep going down and down.
Okay.
And here's what we're going to have a discount, but the idea is going to be kind of the same, in that discount is eventually going to go away, and they'll have to pay the full amount on this one. So we'll see how this one. So, okay, so face value 40,000. Issued at that, and it has a stated interest rate of 6%. Okay, so yeah, actually, I said going up. It's going to be 40,000 times 86.4, so that's 0.864. If you have a good calculator, you can do it on here. Percentage. A cheapy calculator like I got. $34,560. And that's going to be a discount. Accounts payable liability going up, 40,000. We'll have to pay that off in 10 years. And we're going to have a discount of better use my calculator. 5,440. All right. And this discount, the liability is actually going down. And again, it's because these two sides have to equal, this is the asset. These are liabilities, so if you put 34,560, you can only put 34,560 on this other side. And eventually that discount's gonna go away though. Okay, carry amount of the bonds. So the carry amount of the bonds, you can do it one of two ways. You can either just take the for the first one, you can just take the cash. Or you can take the 40,000 minus the discount. Either way, you're gonna get the same number, 34,560. Oh, I didn't do how much we're gonna pay out in interest. Oops. Let's do the cash first. The cash payout is always the same. It's stamped on the bonds. It's what you have to pay out. And so in this case, it'll be 40,000 times 6% times 6/12. You also just divide by 2. Same thing. $1,200. And this, because it's stamped on the bonds, this will be paid out every single time. So coming down here. Oops. All kinds of mistakes. So every single, because this is stamped right on the bonds. $40,000 bonds, we're gonna pay interest rate of 6%. It's semi-annual, twice a year. So twice a year, we gotta make a payment for $1,200. And again, it's a legal document. It's stamped right on the bonds. That's what we're paying out. Okay, interest expense. All right, And this kind of goes back to, again, what did we really borrow? We really borrowed 36,560. And notice that we paid, the interest rate was 8%. Which is why it's a discount, because we're only paying out 6%, they want 8%, so they bought them from us, but they didn't give us the full amount. That is. That may not be a nice number. If you want to round this off to the nearest dollar, you can. I'm going to leave it at 40 cents. But if you want to, you could round that off to the nearest dollar. All right. Well, those don't match. So we're going to have to take them out of the discount. Now, this will be a liability going up. Oops. We now owe, what is it, 182, 40 cents. So we now owe $182.40 more than we did before. Why? Well, because we are paying $1,200. The market is demanding $1,382. So this discount means that we're actually owing them more, $182 more and 40 cents more. And again, this liability is eventually going to go down to zero. This 5,440 is eventually going to go down to zero, and we're going to have to pay off that total amount there. Okay, coming down here. Carry amount was 34. $560. Now, if it's a premium, you subtract it. We don't have a premium here, we have a discount. So I'm going to get rid of that. Have a premium. We do have is a discount. And we're going to add that in. We now owe more. We owe $182.40 more. All right. $34,742.4. My spacing isn't what it should be. So this was the carry amount of the bonds when we started. Now you'll notice it's more. Why? Because we didn't pay what they wanted to pay for interest. They wanted 1382 for interest. We only paid 1200. So they didn't forget about the 182. They're going to tack that on and say, okay, now you owe us 34,742. Okay, coming down here. Everything else is the same as far as the cash is concerned. So that's our new number. So we're gonna multiply that by 8%. Oh boy. All right. I'm gonna round it off to the nearest penny. So this will be liability will increase by the difference between those two, which is 189. All right. So this is a discount, what a discount looks like. Eventually, this discount, oops, I forgot the Y in liability. This discount will go away completely. You know, all this will be gone. The only thing to be left is a payable of 40,000. This will happen after 10 years. And again, we're paying less than the market wants. We're paying $1,200. The market wants 1382. So this first one, they're not going to forget about that. They say, okay, you didn't pay us for 182. We're going to add that onto the balance. When they come down here, this next year they would add 189 onto the balance. They say, okay, you didn't pay us 189. We're going to add that onto the balance. It'll be 34,742 plus 18, whatever that comes up to. So on. You know what? Let's stop here. We'll stop here, and then next week we'll come back to yeah, to this. So and the the thing to remember is, to some extent, the premiums and discounts don't matter. It's just how much did you borrow and what do you have to pay off at the end. And the differences between the premiums and the discounts, those are going to go away over time, and it has to do with the fact that when you make up a bond, whatever this isn't a bond, when you make up a bond, you have to have the interest rate stamped on it. We're going to pay this amount, and it usually isn't exactly what the market wants. Even if you try to get it, it probably is going to be off by a little bit. So the problem is that these are issued by the company. They're like little mini loans. They're borrowing money from people. But they have a specific amount that they're gonna pay on it. But that amount that they're paying on it may not be what the market wants. Oftentimes it's by design. You know, we're paying, you know, we're gonna pay this so that we have a premium, or we're gonna pay this where we have a discount, however their financial people work out that they wanna do it. So it's kind of like, kind of molding the payments maybe is a little better way of putting it to what the company, what their plans are. But, you know, initially, whatever money you get, the proceeds, that's what you borrow. And so that's gonna be the liability also. So you know, and, you know, there isn't really that connotation of premiums are good, discounts are bad. It really is just kind of equalizing it, you know, trying to make it out so that, you know, that it balances out. And valuing the bonds is just like valuing anything else. You can get you know, the dollar amounts, you can get a interest rate. You know, the cash flows, interest rate, you can value anything. And the bonds are no different. They value exactly the same. Okay, any questions on that? We'll hit that up again next week. There's no reason to torture anyone anymore on that tonight. But if you have not turned in, I think most of you already turned in your stuff for the class, chapter 12 stuff. But if you have not, if you turn it in, you'll get full credit for it. So don't think that you missed the deadline or something like that. You can still turn it in. All right. Any questions? All right. Have a good night. And I will see you guys in a week.
All right, good night.
Good night.
Have a good night, Professor.
You good.